Alright, so here I'm just going to show you the basics of Slash, as well as some advanced tips. So the first thing you should know about her crouch slide is that the duration entirely depends on when you crouch. So if you jump and immediately crouch, you will just crouch walk. If you crouch when you're at the apex of the jump, you will slide, but it will last, you know, a quarter of a second. If you jump, well, after this rubber banding stops, in a second, there we go. If you jump, if you crouch just before you land, like the instant before you land, you'll maximize the slide time.
1, fight.
So I'll show you that now. Respawn. So this is what happens when you crouch as late as possible. Completely revolutionizes how long you can actually slide. That's probably wording it a bit strongly. But you can see that no strafe keys, there's no mouse movement. The only variable that I'm changing here is when I'm crouching. So here I'm crouching really early, and it lasts like no time at all. So really the first exercise, if you wanted to get good at Slash, is to practice jumping and crouching in a straight line, without even thinking about anything else. Just isolate this movement and practice this and develop this muscle memory. What I recommend is if you can reconsider your binds and get a good crouch and jump pattern, because you want to chain a slide into a jump. I have crouch on left alt, which is a little bit strange. If you played League of Legends, which I did, I used it a lot for self-cast on shields and heals for several characters, so I'm used to it. But you can probably make it work with coordinating left control and space. It's just a little bit harder. With my setup, I can just slide my thumb from left control to spacebar, and it's really consistent. Of course, there's no use to just doing this bunny hopping. That's not really useful in the game. But once you start gaining speed with slides by using strafe keys and using your mouse movements, then the jumps can get really big, like this, and it can be actually useful. So once you have the timing of crouching, once you have that down, the next thing you want to look at is how your speed changes by just moving your mouse. So I'll just hold forward. This is just holding forward as I slide and just moving my mouse. So not much happened there, it was a little bit slow, but if I increase the speed a little bit, no, nothing happens. I guess you need to be holding a side key. So if you're holding a side key, as you move your mouse in any direction, it doesn't, a lot of people would probably think it has to be in the same direction that you're strafing. So here for example here, I'll be strafing forward, or I'll be moving forward and to the right, move my mouse to the right, and I gain speed. It's probably hard to tell, harder to get some more open area. A lot of people would think, oh well, that's how you do it. You have to do it in the same direction. You don't actually have to do that. It's hard to tell there, but I was holding right as well as forward and looking to the left, and you can see I sped into that wall. So I was holding the right strafe direction there. So what you also learn from this is the direction that you look is the stronger determinant as to which direction you'll actually slide, not really the strafe keys. There's also other videos you can look up for Slash, talking about the different. You got the zigzag slide here. You've got the sweeping slides. Those are fine. I'm not really going to go into those. You can look those up. What I really wanted to show was the crouch timing being and how important it is. So if you drop from height, this is also vitally important. I should mention, just before I show this, that when you're sliding, your gun tilts at a 45-degree angle. That's how you know you're sliding if you don't hear the sound cue. Sometimes it bugs. But if you drop from a height and you crouch at the end, you will slide much longer than you normally would. So just pay attention to the angle of my gun. Still going. That was still one slide. So I dropped down, slid down here, slid up. That was, 5 seconds or so. I walked off the edge. I didn't jump. This was purely just walking off, and this is not, useful to do this kind of movement in a match because you can't shoot anything. But if you were, for example, here, and you fell, you can just ride this whole thing into the lift and up to Mega. If you're in a duel map and you duel match, you know the guy's got rocket and he's sitting at bridge, and you've just picked up red. You need to escape. You get down. You slide here. Get up there. He can't stop you. Like, he has to be ranger. He has to come out here. He has to throw the orb here, come out to maybe catch you as you pick up the Mega. There are other drops like this one. This is one of that I haven't really gotten to use yet.
Quad damage.
But you can see the speed potential, especially if you're using your ultimate, or just your ability. Sorry, I played Overwatch. I called it ultimate. If you activate your ability at about here, when you come in and then come out, you've covered the gate, you've covered the quad, you're flying in, people aren't going to expect a threat at that speed. The particular mechanics of this slide I should go into in more depth. So once you land, you want to come up here, holding forward and right, strafe, looking to the right, and then you counter strafe back this way, and then you don't move your mouse, and you don't move your strafe keys, and you just come up here in a straight line, sliding, and then you hit a strafe key and go to the right, and you jump. So this is a smaller version of the trick, just to isolate this component. So here, it's just a forward, you just slide up these stairs, hug the left wall, and just go forward. And then when you get here, is when you do a slide jump to the right. And that's how you maintain speed, or how you get this high velocity out of the gate. Otherwise, if you just come in here and you don't think about that, you're likely to clip this edge here. You could turn late, hit this and get stuck, and then go through, and then you get no speed. Your abilities run out. There's probably enemies here. It's a very risky thing to do if you get wrong. So it's something that you should practice. So things like this, I'm not really going to talk about. It's fairly intuitive after you get the basics down, so that's what I would like you to do, is
Quad
to
spawn in 15
practice the
seconds.
the crouch timing, and the having a strafe key and looking to the side to increase your speed. Of course, once you gain more speed, you can then jump and maintain the speed. You can then chain the jump again.
Quad spawn.
You don't have to strafe, you could just hit spacebar over and over again if you really wanted to. But strafe gives you more, like sliding gives you more control.
Quad damage.
So yeah, those are the fundamentals, and once you have got those down, so you're used to it and comfortable, you have a lot of freedom. One thing that I should mention is that you really don't want to just employ this in a match. Like if you're in a free-for-all, if you're in a duel, even, you could be like thinking how cool you are, yeah, I'm sliding around doing my cool thing. You just come around a corner, you don't know what's out here, you've just picked a corner. There could be a guy here with rockets expecting you to come for it. He could be at red, and he happens to be, have his rail out, and he's watching rail because he's like, well, he might come out. As he's also listening for up here. So you come flying out here, he sees you, and he's like, oh, well, he's gonna fall, and then it's an easy rail. And at Slash, you can, you're not the tankiest character in the world. So don't just employ these, sick slide and speed mechanics and expect, to just really, cover all this distance and no one can hit you, because they can hit you. These people play Quake for a long time. A lot of the good players will still have no problem hitting you. So the main advantage is when they're out of position. When you've taken red, you know they're up there, and you can go straight over to Mega without, much recoil. So that wasn't very clean. You can maintain more speed than that if you practice it and do it better. I'm not very good at that one myself, but that's your advantage, is that you can move faster, you can get to pickups
Quad spawn in
more
15
easily
seconds.
than a lot of other heroes. Maybe not Anarchy. He's got more freedom, like you're restricted by the map terrain going downstairs. This is, you know, pretty terrible. Going upstairs though, upstairs is fine.
Quad spawn.
If you do a little snaking motion with your mouse and strafe keys, if you just hold one strafe key, it doesn't work. So you do have to weave them. You can weave them slowly and come out, crest, and that's all good. But you really have to know the position of your opponent before you can really do this with reckless abandon. Yeah. Okay. So now I'll just show you a couple of tricks for this map that I have used. So this is one of my favorites. Okay, you can look at the time to see how long that took, but generally the maximum potential is 5 seconds. Average is 6 seconds to do that. So to do this one particular, you have to do a strafe jump. Well, it doesn't have to be a strafe jump. You land, you start the slide. You come out here. Your target is around this area, and then here you're holding forward, and then you start to hold right strafe, and you turn and you flick, and you're aiming for here. The key to this particular jump is you don't want to hit this pillar, and this pillar doesn't matter as much, but you can practice it. You know, instead of starting from up here, you can just practice here, and then that would have landed. I didn't jump intentionally. I was trying to end on the. I was trying to, you know, end on that part of the platform, but just practice this to practice this particular jump. Get to about here, turn, and jump. Okay. And if I, you know, turned a little bit harder, I would have made it. I can do it about 70% of the time now, maybe a little bit more. It's fairly consistent for me at least. Oh, that was a strafe key mistake. I held left strafe too long, but yeah, that comes from when you actually start this initial jump. You do have to be strafing this whole time. So that looked okay, but to anyone who's experienced this component when I was up here was a little bit wide. I went left a little bit too wide, I went right a little bit too wide, and I landed on this half instead of the further to the right that I wanted to, which meant that I was a little bit slower overall. Just these little inaccuracies in movement and strafe movement and mouse movement can really prevent you from your max potential. So you want to be like really efficient with, like, you don't want to be sliding all over the place here. You want to come in and be really smooth and have like a racing line. I think of it that way myself, to try and get better. So yeah, I hope this helps you, and good luck learning Slash. I hope to see more of you around.